Hello, YouTube. How's it going? This is the YouTube exclusive portion of the Hardy Complex. You will not be hearing the final 45 minutes of the Hardy Complex. I'll tell you why in just a second. This is the Hardy Complex YouTube exclusive show. Obviously, we go through a couple of topics within 10 or 15 minutes that we weren't able to breach onto the original show, onto the main show, and we kind of give it as a little bit of an exclusive for the YouTube subscribers that want to go from Podcast 1, Radio 1 to our YouTube channel. Kind of gives us a little bit more of an influx of interest into whatever topics we release on YouTube. Gets our podcast listeners to go to our YouTube page and our YouTube listeners to want to see what we talk about on our main podcast. So, when it comes down to it, you're not going to be able to see the final 45 minutes of our podcast from today because, in all honesty, we did not have much to talk about. This was going to be a more uneventful show. Other than the Kavanaugh trials, there was not much to talk about other than like the NFL's Week 4. We could have talked about some wrestling topic. We could have talked about music. And I think what we reached on the Kavanaugh trials, we reached on Letter Yesterday's, little Alex Kelly and Zach Hardy's circumstance, whatever. We talked about the question for Hardy, which we've been doing every week now. And we breached on to the conversation of fucking something else. It was a sad songs music. That was the fucking hell. You get the point. You whatever. So the final 45 minutes of the show were just us answering a bunch of frequently asked questions. Sound guy and booth guy gave me a little piece of paper with a number of questions on it. I think it was probably something like 30 questions. And I had to just try to answer them one off and off and off and off. We ended up going through the final 45 minutes of the show with that. We ended up having to close off with 180 seconds of commercials for that before we closed off the show. So now you're hearing your little fantasy talk sports thing. So after the frequently asked questions, we have the Week 4 NFL recap. It was a fucking stupid week this week. The Saints decimated the Giants 33-18. The Browns are really good. They are a healthy kicker and even moderately decent or moderately serviceable referee, away from being 4-0. I like Baker Mayfield. He looks like the real deal. The 49ers, well, CJ Beathard. I've always liked CJ Beathard. I've always had a lot of faith in him. But when it came down to last week, Jimmy Garoppolo is our franchise guy. I don't think there's any disputing that at the moment. He is undoubtedly our franchise guy, so him going down, more so than him going down and leaving CJ Beathard involved in the starting quarterback role. It wasn't really that pissed me off or that made me lose hope. It was the fact that it was such a blow to the team's morale and the team's momentum that it could just be a huge downhill slide from them because Jimmy G is hurt. Not even because they can't play well without Jimmy G, but because Jimmy G is hurt. It's like, there goes, there goes our season. Like, our starting quarterback's down. We got CJ Beathard now, and CJ Beathard now. He's really good, but at the same time, we had Jimmy G for a reason. What happens now? It's a huge shift in momentum. And the Chargers just narrowly escaped what felt like Santa Clara and Levi Stadium version 2, just with, a sea of red in Los Angeles' home field. They escaped 29-27. The Browns lost to the Raiders, getting screwed out. That was absolutely a first down. The Browns should be 2-1 right now. There's no fucking denying that. They are... Shut up! Okay. Yeah. Anyway. The Browns are 1-2-1. They lost to the Raiders 45-42 in overtime, which was obviously, hold on. Get your shit on control, man. Anyway, I like the Raiders. I love the Raider fans. And you know what? I really enjoy watching the Raiders. I think they're a very talented team. I think John Gruden's fucking them over pretty badly. I think they're a really good team. But I think even Raiders fans, as happy as they are to escape with a win, I think even Raiders fans will admit they should not have won that game. I love the Raiders fans, and I love the Raiders. They're great. The team is great. It's got a lovely history, and the fans are fucking devoted. I have a shit ton of respect for the Raider fans. Doesn't matter whether the Raiders are in Oakland or are in Las Vegas. The Raider fans follow them and flock to them and love them all the same. They just hate Mark Davis more. That's the only difference, you know. And I think even they, despite the fact that they're the group that go, yeah, we won, let's move on. Boo, we lost, let's move on. It's always let's get to next week with them, but enjoy the moment as well. I think even they will admit, yeah, we shouldn't have won that game. That was a first down. Brown should have ran the clock out. We should have lost. And that's respectable, because that's absolutely what would have happened. But, you know, nevertheless, Browns, God, I've been silently rooting for them for years. And I haven't seen them play with this kind of fire or momentum or hope since fucking Brian Hoyer took over at quarterback. And that is saying a lot. So, there you have that. Continuing down the rabbit hole, we had the Titans rout the Eagles in overtime, 26-23, off of a clutch Marcus Mariota touchdown drive for the Titans, of course. You had, I believe, the Texans beat the Colts 37-34 in overtime. And then you had a shit ton of blowout games. I think the Jaguars beat the Jets 31-13. I'm also saying all these scores off the top of my head, so I'm probably wrong about a few of them. I think the New England Patriots beat the Dolphins 38-7, so that was not surprising, though when it comes down to it, it really puts into question whether the Miami Dolphins 3-1, or at the time 3-0 record should have been anything more than, you know, just an afterthought. You can't really be in the AFC East with a 3-0 record with the Patriots in the backfield and expect them to do, you know, or expect them to do damage in the AFC East. You know, that's not what the Dolphins do. And on top of that, they played some pretty easy teams to kind of get past if you play some semi-moderate defensive football and you're able to move the ball down the field on offense at the very least. So, yeah, there's that. Ryan Fitzception got just absolutely decimated. 10-48 by Mitch Trubisky and the Chicago Bears. I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. The Chicago Bears look dangerous. The Browns look dangerous. The Bears look dangerous. The Bears Week 4, I think they'd be my pick to make it to the Super Bowl. Gonna be honest with you. When it comes down to it, for some people that are listening for the first time, I don't really, or you may think, oh, that's fucking stupid, you know, he's an idiot for thinking that. But for those of you who've been listening to this podcast since the get-go, and have been watching my videos for the past 2 or 3 years, know that I wouldn't say something like that if I didn't truly believe it. You know, if I didn't have the balls to actually kind of to go forth with it and think, yeah, I think that's absolutely a possibility. Once you hear me say that, you're like, oh, well, let me look into it more. Let me see, you know, what kind of point he has. Usually I do have a point. If this offense can put up decent numbers, if this offense can move the ball downfield, if this offense can score points, or even get in the position to knock through a field goal, you know, on 3 separate drives, as long as you can get a touchdown or 2 out of that team, you're walking away with a win most weeks. That defensive unit is scary, and it's dangerous, and Fitzception, God, he got decimated by it. The Bears, I think they're the dark horse team to make the Super Bowl in the NFC. I absolutely believe that. I think the Bears could easily get past the Vikings. I think they could easily get past the Packers. I think they could easily get past the Eagles. I don't know about the Rams, but I think with the Rams and the Eagles, I think that would be such a defensive battle. It would be like a 7-6 game, you know? But I think that the Bears would actually have a chance to beat the Rams. You know, I honestly believe that. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. The Packers, you know, speaking of them, routed the Bills 22-0, and Josh Allen's, I guess, biggest NFL start. Well, no, last week was his biggest NFL start, but his second NFL start. You can just say that much. The Seahawks just narrowly escaped Arizona with a win, 20-17. I will always call it University of Phoenix Stadium, or University of Arizona Stadium, whatever. Because that will never be whatever the fucking stupid name is now. The Rams probably won. Yeah, I think the Rams beat the Vikings. They beat the Vikings 38-31. The Ravens beat the Steelers, I believe, 22-13 or 22-17, something along those lines. So great for the Ravens. The Steelers are just horrible. I've been saying since the beginning of the season, Mike Tomlin. I've actually been saying for the past number of years, Mike Tomlin is not the coach they need to have with them. So it's kind of a case of, I don't expect him being around too much longer. He inherited a Super Bowl winning team. That's really the only reason why he won the Super Bowl, and he has not built much. He drafted some great guys. Antonio Brown, you can't really give him credit for, because Antonio Brown is a very talented receiver. The Steelers are known for their receiver coaches, making the best of their receivers. Juju Smith-Schuster, probably not Juju Smith-Schuster without being on the Steelers, or without that Steelers wide receiver coaching staff. Le'Veon Bell drama is kind of taking over the Steelers. Mike Tomlin's not doing much to kind of die down that hostility, that position in which you're just shooting yourself and your team in the foot. Like, that's not a good thing to have happen, and Mike Tomlin's just kind of letting it run rampant on his roster. That's very aggravating, not gonna lie. So I feel for your Steeler fans. So we get from that point in time to the Chiefs. Did the Chiefs play? No, I think the Chiefs play next week. Or no, not next week. I think the Chiefs play tonight, Monday night. What other teams am I missing? Did the Jets play? Yes, the Jets. I already mentioned the Jets and Jaguars game. The Bengals, I believe, the Bengals beat the Atlanta Falcons, I believe, 39 or 38-37. Scary injury for Tyler Eifert. God, the poor fucker. He's had so many fucking injury problems, especially big ones. Nothing like getting his leg completely snapped, in a portion because of a defender falling on his leg. God, it was gruesome, and it was horrible to watch, but, ugh, God. I feel for you. Yeah, Tyler Eifert, you're in my condolence list, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you had a scary injury with the Bengals, but at least they walked out with a win. So I believe they're 2-2 on no. I believe they're 3-1 on the season. God, that's kind of disgusting, not gonna lie. What else do we not talk about? The Broncos. The Broncos win. I don't know. I think the Broncos actually face the Chiefs tonight. In that case, whatever. We talked about the Raiders beating the Browns. I'm just going down from memory now, so my apologies if I missed somebody. Cowboys beat the fucking the Lions on the last second drive. Dak Prescott and co bringing the Cowboys down the field to kick a field goal for the game winner, I guess. So congratulations to them. Moving on. Redskins, I think they won, maybe, probably, I guess. Where do we go from there? Packers talked about, Bears talked about, Vikings talked about, Lions talked about, Saints talked about, Falcons talked about, Panthers, I don't know what they did. I think the Panthers probably faced the Redskins or something like that. So, yeah, maybe they won, maybe they lost, I don't know. And then the Buccaneers, talked about them, 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams, talked about all of them. So that's your Week 4 recap of the NFL. A lot of big highlights and discussion points to be talked about. I don't really have anywhere else to go from there. If I had to rank my top 3 teams in the NFL right now, I'd probably go Rams, number 1. Number 2 would probably be the Bears, honestly. And number 3 would... number 3... I don't know. Number 3 would probably be the Vikings. Number 3 would probably still be the Vikings, despite their record at the moment. And then you'd have, if you want to continue to go down that road, we go, Bengals would be up there. I would say that the Eagles would absolutely be up there. If I hadn't already gone Eagles, I may have. The Redskins would probably be up there. Saints. The Chiefs, absolutely. You know what? I'm going to go with the Chiefs instead at number 3. I'm going to go Chiefs, Bears, Rams. I think that's good. And then the Vikings would be like number 4. But yeah, so there's your Week 4 NFL recap. Thank you for joining us on the Hardy Complex. This was a fun show to be able to do, especially with 45 minutes of answering questions. We enjoy your time. Thank you very much. Be sure to check the Wrestle Target on Twitter, and you can that'll be at Wrestle Target. then you can follow me on Twitter at Zachary Sarah, at ZACHARYSERRA, and on Instagram at THEZACKHARDY. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, comment and subscribe for more. We will be back next Monday, October 8th, 2018, for the 9th episode of the Hardy Complex. It'll be streamed live on Podcast One and Radio One Monday morning, 9 to 11, and we will continue uploading those clips afterwards. So with that being said, thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next week. We appreciate the support, we appreciate the love, and we hope you have a fun week. You have a fun day and a fun night, and we will see you again soon. From the booth guy and sound guy from Port Washington, New York, our lovely little studio. I'm Zach Hardy, and it's the Hardy Complex signing off. Thank you very much. Adios.